As the airplane's wheels gently kissed the tarmac in Jaipur, I was immediately enveloped by an exhilarating wave of anticipation. The air was rich with warmth, filled with the fragrant notes of spices, which seemed to dance around me like a familiar yet exotic melody. Stepping off the plane felt like crossing an invisible threshold into a world I had long dreamed of, a world bursting with life and color. My heart raced as I took my first steps into the bustling city of Jaipur, known as the Pink City for its vibrant rose-hued architecture. The moment I left the airport and approached the taxi stand, I was greeted by a barrage of sounds. The honks of rickshaws, the chatter of excited travelers, and the melody of street vendors calling out their tantalizing offers. I could feel the energy pulsating through the crowded space, each person a thread woven into the city's rich tapestry. I maneuvered my way into a taxi, the driver full of enthusiasm, eager to share stories about his beloved city. As we traveled along the bustling streets, I gazed out at the kaleidoscope of colors surrounding me. Women in saris of brilliant hues moved gracefully, while children played in the streets, their laughter mingling with the honking and the ambient noise, creating a harmonious symphony that encapsulated life in Jaipur. It felt as if the city itself were a canvas, painted with vivid details that overwhelmed my senses. Temples and palaces gleamed against the sky, and the relentless energy of the street vendors offered mouth-watering delicacies that beckoned me to explore further. "Try the samosas," the driver chimed as we drove past a vendor frying them golden brown, the aroma wafting through the open windows, making my stomach grumble with anticipation. My first destination was the illustrious Amber Fort, an iconic symbol of Jaipur perched majestically on a hill. As I climbed the winding pathways to the fort, the architectural beauty unfolding before me seemed to sparkle under the radiant sun. Each step higher revealed a more breathtaking view of the city below, where the rooftops mixed with the gentle undulations of the surrounding hills. The fort was not just a structure, it was a living piece of history, whispering stories of warriors and kings, of love and betrayal. The intricate mosaics beckoned me closer, and I found myself lost in their artistry, tracing my finger over the delicate inlays that depicted scenes of bygone eras. While exploring the fort's many alcoves, I became aware of a presence nearby. Turning, I encountered a local artist, his hands stained with vivid pigments and adorned with the patina of countless hours spent creating. His eyes sparkled with a contagious enthusiasm as he approached me, his voice tinged with a melodic accent. "Come, let me show you something special," he said, drawing me toward a hidden corner of the fort, away from the bustling tourists. There, in a quiet alcove, the artist unveiled his latest mural, a breathtaking depiction of Jaipur's history, capturing the essence of its people and their stories. The colors danced vividly on the wall, each hue representing a different facet of the city's culture. As he explained the symbolism behind the vibrant reds, blues, and golds, I was captivated, not only by his artwork, but also by the sheer passion radiating from him. "Art is the voice of the city," he said, "and every brushstroke tells a tale." With my heart brimming with inspiration, I thanked him and continued my exploration of Jaipur. The city unfolded like an intricate scroll, revealing the remarkable city palace, rich with history and architecture that blends the majestic grandeur of Rajasthan with the unique marks of Mughal influence. Strolling through the palace grounds, I marveled at the detailed craftsmanship that adorned each feature, while courtiers of the past seemed to come alive in my imagination, wandering through the vibrant halls and gardens. By evening, the setting sun cast a golden glow over the city, transforming it into a living painting. I ventured into the streets, where the bustling markets came alive with energy as locals and tourists alike engaged in the delightful cacophony of bargaining and laughter. Colorful stalls overflowed with handmade textiles, jewelry, and crafts, each item telling its own story. The vibrant atmosphere was intoxicating, and I immersed myself in the culture, picking up small trinkets and chatting with friendly vendors who welcomed me with warm smiles and hearty laughter. As the day drew to a close, I found a cozy rooftop restaurant overlooking the city. The view was breathtaking. The palaces and temples glimmered under the starry sky. I ordered traditional Rajasthani dishes, each bite an explosion of flavor, enhanced by the thrill of being in such a magical place. As I savored the rich spices, I couldn't help but reflect on the journey that had led me here, to this moment, in this beautiful city that embraced me with open arms. After my unforgettable stay in Jaipur, it was time to continue my adventure. I traveled onward to Agra, home of the world-renowned Taj Mahal. The anticipation swelled within me as I made my way through the bustling streets en route to one of the most iconic structures ever created. Upon arrival, I was immediately struck by the ethereal beauty of the Taj Mahal, standing majestically against the azure sky. The sight was surreal, a dream brought to life. Its white marble facade gleamed brilliantly, each inch telling a story of love and devotion. As I walked closer, I could see the intricate inlay work that adorned the walls, a delicate choreography of flowers and patterns that captured the essence of a timeless elegance. The gardens surrounding the Taj were equally breathtaking, manicured to perfection, inviting visitors to pause and breathe in the beauty that enveloped this sacred site. Standing before the monument, I could feel the profound history it housed, connecting me to the eternal love that inspired its creation. Wandering through the surroundings, I met fellow travelers who shared their stories and excitement about witnessing such an iconic masterpiece. The atmosphere was electric as we all exchanged our thoughts, capturing the moment with cameras and laughter. The sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the Taj Mahal, creating a romantic ambience that was almost palpable. As my journey continued, I realized that Jaipur and Agra had become more than just destinations. They were chapters of an unforgettable story I was writing with each experience. Each moment was a brushstroke added to the canvas of my life, vividly coloring my memories and enriching my understanding of the world. In the end, my travels through these magnificent cities left an indelible mark on my heart, weaving a rich tapestry of experiences that would forever inspire my spirit of adventure. India, with its diverse cultures, enchanting landscapes, and timeless stories, had welcomed me with open arms, and I was grateful for every moment spent within its vibrant embrace that I in that moment. As the sun began its slow descent behind the ancient Hassan Minar, I felt an unexpected camaraderie with my travel companion, a local named Raj. We were sitting together on the steps of an old, weathered building, surrounded by the vibrant chaos of Hyderabad, India. The air was thick with spices and street food. Vibrant piles of bel puri twirled around us, tempting our senses. Our laughter mingled with the sounds of honking rickshaws as we swapped stories that seemed to span cultures and continents. The unique aromas wafting around us formed an intoxicating backdrop to our burgeoning friendship, a silver thread connecting our hearts even though we hailed from completely different worlds. As the day gracefully transitioned into the soft glow of evening, I reluctantly bade farewell to my newfound friend. I was left to navigate the throbbing life of Johari Bazaar alone. The bazaar pulsed with energy, the vibrant colors of fabric and jewelry creating a rainbow in the marketplace. It was a feast for my eyes as the brilliant hues of saris danced in the evening breeze. The air was fragrant with freshly brewed chai, the sweet pungency wrapping around me like a warm blanket. I felt alive and completely immersed in the experience, and as I wandered deeper into the bazaar, the sounds of haggling floated past my ears like a fascinating melody. It was here, among the lively stalls, that something extraordinary caught my eye. A beautifully crafted piece of jewelry nestled in a wooden display. A silver bracelet, intricately etched with delicate designs that whispered stories of love and tradition, ensnared my attention. I couldn't resist the urge to examine it closely. The deep lines and curves of the metal felt almost alive under my fingers. The shopkeeper, an elderly man with a weathered face and a smile that emanated wisdom, welcomed me warmly as I approached. His eyes twinkled with kindness and mischief, inviting me into his world. "Can I offer you some tea?" he asked, motioning toward a small pot brewing in the corner of his stall. The deep aroma of cardamom and ginger filled the air as we sat together, sipping the warm beverage that seemed to revive my energy. We talked about everything from the history of Jaipur to the significance of the ornaments he sold. His tales were mesmerizing, each sentence layered with cultural richness. As I purchased the bracelet, a peculiar glint in his eye caught me off guard. He leaned closer, lowering his voice conspiratorially, and whispered, "Keep your eyes open for what is hidden." His words reverberated in my mind long after I left the bazaar. What could be hidden in a place so vibrant, so teeming with life? The thought felt almost like a challenge, igniting a spark of curiosity within me. I was never one to back down from an adventure, and that morning, I set out, determined to uncover the myriad secrets of Jaipur. The cobblestone streets were bustling with vendors and locals alike, their lively chatter creating a rich tapestry of sounds. As I ventured farther into the heart of the city, my feet carried me to places that weren't outlined in any travel guide. Exhausted yet exhilarated, I sought out off-the-beaten-path locations, forgotten step-wells shrouded in ancient stones, and serene temples where the soft murmurs of prayer drifted through the air. Each hidden corner unveiled a new story and introduced me to an unexpected character in my ever-evolving adventure. At one particularly secluded temple, I crossed paths with a young woman named Priya. She was diligently collecting offerings, her hands deftly moving with grace. The sunlight danced on her face, illuminating her infectious laughter and drawing me toward her. We struck up an easy conversation, our words flowing like a gentle stream. Yet, beneath the cheerful surface, I sensed something deeper, a yearning in her voice as we spoke. Priya mentioned a local legend about a hidden garden within the city, whispered about among the townsfolk. It was said to be a sanctuary for lost souls, those seeking solace from the bustling world outside. Intrigued, I leaned in closer, eager to learn more. Is it true? I asked, my pulse quickening at the thought of such a magical place existing in real life. Her eyes sparkled with excitement as she recounted tales of weary souls finding refuge within the garden's lush greenery. It's like stepping into another realm, she said, her voice almost a reverent whisper. People say the air is thick with peace there, and the flowers bloom in colors that don't exist anywhere else. My curiosity was piqued, and a sense of urgency bubbled within me. I felt the fire for exploration reigniting. Without wasting another moment, I asked Priya for directions, determined to see this mystical garden for myself. As she outlined the path, her eyes were alive with a fervor that captured my imagination, painting vibrant pictures before me. As I set out on my quest, my heart raced in rhythm with the pulse of the city. The narrow alleys led me deeper into the labyrinthine streets, and I could feel the energy thrumming around me. I navigated through bustling markets, vibrant street performers, and the fragrant stalls of food vendors, each moment a new experience to be cherished. The sun began to lower in the sky, casting a warm, golden hue over Jaipur, and I found myself lost in the rhythm of the city, a joyful chaos welcoming me with open arms. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of winding paths and tantalizing distractions, I stumbled upon a humble entrance adorned with intricately carved wooden doors, partially hidden by cascading vines. This had to be it, the fabled hidden garden. My heart raced, and with a gentle push, the doors creaked open, revealing an enchanting world that seemed to have been plucked straight from a fairy tale. Stepping into the garden, I felt as though I had crossed into another dimension. The air was thick with fragrant blossoms, and the sounds of the city faded into a serene silence. Every corner of the garden brimmed with vibrant colors, the flowers blooming in hues so vivid they seemed unreal. I walked along a meandering path, surrounded by towering trees that whispered ancient secrets as the wind rustled their leaves. This was a sanctuary, a serene paradise where I felt the stress of the world release its grip on my shoulders. I could hardly believe such a place existed within the bustling city I had known just moments before. It was as if the weight of all my cares drifted away, leaving only a sense of peace and clarity. In that tranquil space, I let the emotions wash over me, joy, wonder, and a sense of belonging I had not known I was seeking. I found a quiet bench beneath a grand tree, its branches stretching toward the heavens, and sat there for what felt like an eternity. I closed my eyes, allowing the serenity to envelop me completely, breathing in the fragrant air that carried the essence of countless stories. As I sat there, I realized that the journey was more than about uncovering secrets. It was about connection and discovery. In meeting new people, like Raj and Priya, and allowing myself to be open to whatever the universe had in store. This journey was not just about exploring a foreign land. It was about exploring the depths of my own spirit and the connections that bind us all, regardless of distance or culture. Laughter continued to echo in my mind as I imagined all the stories left untold, tucked away in corners of the world, and in the hearts of those who shared a moment with me. Each city held its own rhythm, its own stories, and the hidden gems nestled in the fabric of everyday life were the most precious treasures of all. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm orange glow across the landscape, I knew my adventure was just beginning. With a heart full of stories and a spirit ready to embrace whatever came next, I left the enchanting sanctuary behind, eager to take the next vibrant step on this incredible journey through India. The world was vast and waiting for me, and I was ready to dive right into it. The vibrant streets of Hyderabad pulsated with life, their energy contagious, but it was only the beginning of my journey. After absorbing the captivating sights and sounds of this bustling city, I felt an overwhelming urge to explore more of India, a world rich in history, culture, and untold stories. My next destination was Jaipur, and I could hardly contain my excitement. The capital of Rajasthan promised a tapestry of color, tradition, and unique experiences waiting just for me. I hopped onto a train, the rhythmic clatter of the wheels on the tracks mirroring my racing heart. As the landscape transformed outside my window from the urban chaos of Hyderabad to the rolling hills and arid deserts, I felt a sense of anticipation building within me. Priya, a friend who had lived in Jaipur all her life, had told me tales of a hidden garden that seemed to cradle the very essence of the city, a place where the past danced with the present. Find it, she urged, her eyes sparkling with a fervor that ignited my curiosity. You'll see its magic. Determined to uncover this hidden treasure, I navigated the streets of Jaipur with a map that felt almost like a treasure map, each vibrant block leading me closer to the unexpected. With every winding alley that turned into a maze, I sought directions from the warm-hearted locals who greeted me with genuine smiles. Their eyes sparkled with a mix of kindness and mischief, as if sharing secrets of the city that weren't found in travel guides. After a labyrinthine journey, I finally arrived at an unremarkable rusty gate, overtaken by ivy. My heart raced as I pushed it open, anticipation surging through me. What lay beyond was a stunning oasis unlike anything I had ever seen, a hidden garden bursting with life. Flowers in every color imaginable danced in the gentle breeze, and the air was alive with the sweet melodies of chirping birds. It was as if I had stepped into another world, a serene sanctuary that offered refuge from the bustling city outside. Time slipped away as I took in the beauty around me, each petal and each leaf whispering stories of hope and resilience. And then, just as I was lost in the enchanting sights and sweet scents, I heard a rustling sound that cut through my moment of solitude. Instinctively, I paused, realizing I was not alone in this magical place. With cautious steps, I approached the source of the noise and was met with the intriguing gaze of an elderly man, his eyes shining with a depth that spoke of countless stories woven into the fabric of his life. He introduced himself as Rehan, the guardian of this hidden garden. As we exchanged introductions, I felt a sense of reverence, for in that moment, I understood the bond that tied him to this beautiful oasis. With the garden as our backdrop, Rehan shared tales of the souls who once roamed freely here, living harmoniously with nature. Each story he told was a thread spun from the loom of time, weaving nostalgia into the fragrant air. He spoke of lovers who carved their initials in the bark of ancient trees, and children who played tag among the blooming flowers, their laughter ringing like bells in the wind. As he spoke, an overwhelming wave of understanding washed over me. I began to comprehend that the adventure I sought was not merely about the places I visited. It was about the relationships I forged along the way. I sat beside Rehan, captivated by his words, as the sun began to dip lower in the sky, casting a warm golden hue across the garden. The beauty of the moment felt almost surreal, a hidden gem filled with wisdom and stories waiting to be uncovered. I listened intently, my heart swelling with emotion as he shared lessons about love, loss, and the importance of cherishing every fleeting moment. Each story felt like a reflection of my own experiences, as if the garden was not just a physical place, but a mirror of my soul's journey. By the time the first stars began to twinkle in the dusky sky, illuminating the garden with a celestial glow, I reluctantly realized it was time to leave this sanctuary. My heart was heavy with memories, every tale shared woven intricately into my own life's narrative. I bid farewell to Rehan, promising to carry his stories with me as I moved on to my next destination, Agra. The journey to Agra was much more than a mere transfer from one city to another. It was a continuation of my story, one that was enriched by the encounters I had along the way. As I boarded the train, I replayed the day in my mind, already yearning to return to that hidden garden and its wise guardian. I could hardly wait for the majestic Taj Mahal, a marvel I had long dreamed of seeing. Yet I knew that the true treasures of my adventure would not just be the sights, but the connections I made and the wisdom I gained. As the train sped towards Agra, I watched the landscape morph once again, feeling a sense of exhilaration and peace intertwine within me. The vibrant colors of Jaipur faded into the distance, but the warmth of its people, the stories of its garden, and the exhilaration of uncharted paths remained vivid in my heart. I realized that in seeking out the beauty of this remarkable land, I had found something even more precious, a deeper understanding of myself and an appreciation for the magic woven through the fabric of life itself. Each new destination beckoned me with the promise of discovery, and I was eager to embrace whatever came next on my journey through this enchanting country. The rhythmic clatter of the train's wheels against the tracks resonated in my ears as I stared out the window, allowing my thoughts to drift freely. The landscapes of India transformed outside my view. Lush fields, vibrant markets, and occasional glimpses of everyday life filled my heart with a profound appreciation. Each mile brought with it memories of my previous stop, Hyderabad, rich in history and electrifying energy, where I basked in the charm of its heritage sites, indulged in its famous biryani, and listened to the captivating stories of local vendors. As the train approached Agra, anticipation bubbled within me. I could already feel the unique charm of this city beckoning me, enticing me with whispers of its renowned history. Upon my arrival, I was enveloped by a different kind of energy, one characterized by reverence, particularly in the vicinity of the legendary Taj Mahal. The bustling streets were alive with vendors selling everything from vibrant turbans to colorful bangles, their laughter mingling with the sounds of honking rickshaws. I took a moment to absorb it all, the aroma of sizzling street food juxtaposed with the scent of nearby jasmine blossoms. When I first laid eyes on the Taj Mahal, I was rendered speechless. The sheer scale and beauty of this architectural marvel were staggering. The brilliant white marble shimmered under the afternoon sun, exuding an ethereal glow that momentarily stole my breath away. Tourists and locals alike wandered the gardens, their faces lit up with awe and wonder, much like mine. I could feel the stories of love and loss reverberating around me, with every corner of this magnificent structure holding within it centuries of history. As I strolled around the expansive grounds, admiring the intricate carvings that adorned the marble, I inadvertently found myself drifting closer to a group of curious travelers. Their animated chatter teased my ears, and amidst their laughter, I overheard them discussing something intriguing. They spoke of a hidden vantage point, a secret location where one could witness the sun setting behind the Taj Mahal, casting a perfect reflection on the water that graced its base. The thought ignited a spark of curiosity within me. Against my better judgment, I felt compelled to follow them. After all, the promise of such an exquisite sunset view was too enticing to resist. We meandered through vibrant alleyways, breaking away from the main tourist route. There was a thrill to stepping into the less explored corners of Agra, though a faint unease began to bubble beneath my excitement. The chatter of the bustling crowds became quieter, replaced by the distant sounds of children playing and the soft rustle of leaves swaying in the gentle breeze. Just as I began to take in the atmosphere, a sudden commotion erupted nearby, jolting me from my reverie. A man shouted as he dashed past us, his face a mask of desperation. Without thinking, my heart raced, and I instinctively joined in the chase, adrenaline coursing through my veins. The man was pursuing a young boy who clutched a bag tightly in his small hands, clearly stolen from an unsuspecting tourist. As we wove through the narrow streets, dodging stares from onlookers and passing through a winding labyrinth of alleyways, I could hardly catch my breath. The chase veered into a small courtyard, sunbeams spilling into the dusty space and illuminating the scene. We cornered the boy against the crumbling wall, the sounds of the city fading into silence. To my astonishment, the boy didn't appear fierce or cunning, but instead looked terrified, wide-eyed and trembling. With small, quivering hands, he pleaded for understanding. "I didn't want to hurt anyone," he stammered, glancing nervously around us. "I just wanted to feed my hungry siblings." His voice was barely above a whisper, but the desperation in his eyes struck me deeply. The man chasing him, too. His anger began to dissipate, and instead, a flicker of sympathy took its place. As I stood there, the chaos of the chase behind me and the tension palpable in the air, I felt a surge of emotions. Compassion wrestled with a sense of injustice. After a few moments of stunned silence, the older man, whose anger had transformed into concern, sighed heavily. "Why didn't you ask for help, boy?" he asked, his voice now softer, infused with a strange tenderness. "Stealing is not the answer." The boy glanced downward, shame evident on his small face. "I was scared. I thought no one would help us." His confession hung in the air like a weight, and I could see pure innocence in his eyes, an innocence marred by the harsh realities of survival. At that moment, something shifted within me. The grandeur of the Taj Mahal faded into the background of my thoughts as I realized the true beauty of this journey lay not just in the sights I could behold, but in the stories shared and the lives touched along the way. Encouraged by the older man's shift in demeanor, I took a step forward, kneeling beside the boy. "What do you need?" I asked, my own heart aching at the helplessness radiating from the child. He looked up at me, his wide eyes searching for hope. "I have two younger sisters," he confessed, his voice cracking. "We haven't eaten today." In a fervent moment, a plan began to form. The older man and I exchanged glances, as if our unspoken agreement knit a bond between us in that courtyard. We promptly decided to take the boy back to the bazaar, where we would buy food for him and his siblings. The boy's face brightened, and for the first time, I saw a flicker of hope in his eyes. As we walked back through the lively streets of Agra, laughter and chatter surrounded us like a warm embrace. The enormous, white silhouette of the Taj Mahal loomed in the distance, a poignant reminder of the love story it represented. And in that moment, amidst the clamor of the marketplace and the vibrant colors of everyday life, I realized that life was, indeed, a tapestry woven with the threads of kindness, connection, and the willingness to share our fortunes with those less fortunate. When we reached the market, the boy watched with wide eyes as we gathered fruits, bread, and sweets, each item more than just food, but a representation of hope and sustenance. As we filled our bags, I couldn't help but feel a sense of purpose. In that fleeting time, I had gleaned a lesson far more valuable than the scenic views of Agra, one that underscored the significance of compassion and community. After delivering the food to the boy's humble home, where three little faces lit up with joy as they received the unexpected bounty, I made my way back to the Taj Mahal. The sun was beginning to bow down, casting long shadows and bathing the landscape in warm hues of orange and pink. I reached my previously sought-out vantage point and found just the spot where the water met the reflection of the majestic structure. As I stood there, the serene silence enveloped me, allowing my thoughts to settle. Watching the sun dip below the horizon, I was reminded of the beauty surrounding us, of both the grand and the humble. Sometimes the most extraordinary journey is not just about the places we see, but the unexpected connections we form along the way. The air was fragrant with anticipation. I could hear laughter from nearby tourists and the gentle lapping of water against the marble base. It was then that I realized this experience had transformed me. In a city known for love and loss, I had discovered the profound beauty of humanity, the beauty that often hides in the most unexpected places. Forever etched in my heart was the understanding that while monuments may stand tall and proud, it is the stories of the people that breathe life into every corner of the world we inhabit. As the sun slowly dipped below the horizon in Agra, casting a warm glow over the emblematic Taj Mahal, I found myself standing at the edge of a tranquil reflecting pool. The air was imbued with a sense of magic, and the world seemed to fall into a hushed silence, as if even time itself had paused to pay homage to one of the greatest architectural achievements of mankind. I can clearly recall the intricate patterns of the white marble, the detailed carvings of flora and fauna that lived eternally along its surfaces, and the stories embedded in the very stones of the mausoleum built by Emperor Shah Jahan in memory of his beloved wife, Mumtaz Mahal. This journey had begun in the bustling streets of Hyderabad, where the scent of spices wafted through the air like an aromatic embrace, urging one to explore further. I wandered through the historic lanes, talking to street vendors whose smiles were as wide as the array of colors in their stalls. It struck me how similar yet different these cities were, each carrying with them their unique rhythm and personality. On my way to Jaipur, the Pink City, I could feel a surge of excitement bubbling within me. The landscape shifted dramatically as the lush green of Hyderabad gave way to the sun-kissed arid plains of Rajasthan. I remembered sitting next to a local couple on the bus, their laughter ringing out like music as they shared stories of their lives. The woman leaned over and, her eyes sparkling, said, "Every city has a heart. You just have to lend your ear to feel its pulse." I held her words close to my heart as I anticipated what lay ahead. Upon arriving in Jaipur, I was welcomed by the majestic palaces painted in pink hues, pulsating with a vibrant energy that enveloped me like a warm blanket. The resounding call of the hawkers could be heard everywhere, enticing travelers to partake in the decadence of local handicrafts and street food. On one particularly bustling corner, I stumbled upon a small vendor selling kakoris, and the first bite unleashed a symphony of flavors, a delightful crunch followed by the warm spices that danced on my palate. I closed my eyes for a moment, allowing the experience to wash over me like a wave. The following day, as I navigated through the corridors of the city palace with its intricate architecture and sprawling courtyards, I felt history wrap around me in an embrace. I decided to chat with one of the local guides who seemed to know every nook and cranny of this exquisite place. "You see," he said, pointing to the grand balconies where the royal family once watched celebrations, "these walls have witnessed joy and sorrow, just like us. They tell stories of resilience." His passion for his city radiated palpable warmth, as though he were a living archive of its secrets and tales. Later, I rose early one morning to visit the Amber Fort, where the sun crested over the horizon and bathed the fort in a golden glow. Climbing the ramparts, I felt like a time traveler, the cool morning air brushing against my skin, mingling with the sense of the earth awakening beneath the first rays of light. It was here, atop a battlement, that I truly understood the allure of Jaipur. The panoramic view sprawled before me like a painter's masterpiece, the land stretching endlessly, dotted with hues of green and gold. Yet, among these grandiose sights, it was a moment of pure compassion that etched itself into my memory. While exploring the streets vibrant with life, I came across a young boy, his skeletal frame visible beneath a tattered shirt, his eyes pleading yet hopeful. Instead of anger at the circumstances that faced him, I felt a wave of empathy wash over me. A group of tourists gathered, drawn by a shared instinct to reach out. Together, we pooled our resources, giving him food and a few rupees for his family. Watching his face transform as gratitude overcame his somber expression struck a chord deep within me. In that fleeting encounter, I was reminded that every person, regardless of their situation, carries a myriad of dreams and struggles that connect us all as humans. As the sun began to retreat that evening, painting the sky with a canvas rich in hues of orange and purple, I stood once again before the Taj Mahal, this time completely alone. The reflections in the water were dazzling, almost surreal, bringing forth a cascade of thoughts that seemed to swirl around me. I understood then that true beauty is often encapsulated not just in monumental structures, but in the connections we forge, the stories we share, and the moments that render us vulnerably human. Leaving Agra behind was bittersweet, but I realized that my journey was evolving into something far more profound than I initially anticipated. Time and time again, I had sought the answers to questions that were beyond the surface. Yet now I understood that life is not merely about seeking answers, but embracing the ride, the unpredictable twists and turns that come our way. The treasures of my travels were no longer relegated to the sights and sounds of the places I visited. Instead, they took the form of lessons learned, the myriad interactions that reshaped my soul. With every step I took further into this grand adventure, I found a renewed sense of purpose roaring to life within me. I created a tapestry of experiences in my mind, filled with vibrant stories waiting to be told and cherished memories to hold close to my heart. My journey did not end with Agra or Jaipur. It was merely the beginning of another chapter. The quest for discovery continues, an invitation to embrace the unknown paths unfolding before me, promising new encounters, experiences, and profound connections that lie ahead. In the journey of life, I found that the most extraordinary views often reside not in the landscapes we traverse, but in the intricate tapestry of human experiences that unite us all. Thanks for joining the adventure. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing travels. What was your favorite part? Let me know in the comments. Where are we heading next? Stay tuned, and see you in the next adventure.